There are 3 key levels of spiritual awakening, and I'm going to be happy to explain them to you. Hi, I'm Jimmy, and this episode is called Spiritual Awakening on Empower Your Pattern. I'm Jimmy Hendrick, founder of James Hendrick Empowerment. I'm here to show you ways to achieve more, to live a better and extraordinary life now, right here and right now. And I wish to give you these spiritual and temporal tips to help you overcome the adversities in everyday life. So if you're ready to come with me, I'll show you these patterns. Let's go. We'll be back to talk about spiritual awakening. Welcome to the podcast. First, we got to hear a word from our sponsors. Well, howdy ho there, neighbor. How are you? Well, what's wrong? 3 cows died this morning. I don't know how they managed to hurt. Oh, that's easy. No, it wasn't cows. Dang it. The foreman didn't get it right. 3 of my goats, okay? 3 of my goats died. Don't know what to do. Why don't you go ahead and hop over to the Little Big Ranch in Midkiff, Texas? You know these people. Hey, I'll tell you something. They're down home country. And they have some of the best quality livestock that you can find. You can find Little Big Ranch on Facebook, and soon, hopefully, a website. So, contact the folks at Little Big Ranch. You'll be glad you did. Alright then. Well, I gotta get back gallivanting. I gotta whip some steer in shape. Alright, man, take it easy. Hey guys, it is a great time to talk to you guys about spiritual awakening and how important that is. Now, I agree with Jody Moore in that spiritual awakening and spiritual maturity are not the same, but I say that they're interrelated. Okay, they're interrelated. So, we're going to go ahead and talk about these levels. Okay, the first level is motivation by fear. Now, Jody Moore seems to believe that it is based on a fear of God. Maybe to some extent it is. I was raised Southern Baptist, okay, so I got a little bit different context from than, some people that are not raised like I am. Going to Vacation Bible School was the first time at about, I think I was 7 years old. I learned from my minister at the time and by Sunday school about the importance of the fear of God. I mean, especially as I got older. But I remember one Sunday sitting there, and the pastor was talking about hell and how we need to get saved. Of course, I was 7 years old. I mean, really didn't think about such things. Really didn't start thinking about such things. I knew I wanted to be close to God, but I just kind of it was like basic level. And I got saved according to Baptist tradition when I was 11. And I stayed in this basic fear level for quite some time. But see, here's the thing. The basic fear level is not really mature spiritually. You need to know that. Because, I've always, from the very beginning, even when I started the first Empower Your Pattern podcast here on Spreaker in 2019. I talked about how fear is a weapon of the reactive culture. But it also can be those who are not part of that culture that are well-meaning, but they got the wrong ideals, in my opinion, as far as helping people have spiritual awakening. Okay, fear-based. That's really a big one. Now, fear-based, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not judging it, but I just think it's kind of spiritually immature. You're basically, in the words of many of my Baptist friends, both Jew Christians, was known as a baby Christian. You stay a baby Christian. Now, the second level, and we're going to spend a little while talking about this, is the external level of spirituality. And I really believe that there's two parts to that level. Okay, the first one is external. You believe what people just tell you. You don't search it out in your scriptures for yourself. Say you go to church. Okay, I'm using Baptist lingo, okay? Not Latter-day Saint lingo, because, well, quite frankly, I just need to tell you how I see it. You go to just a regular church, not early as on Sunday. The minister has you open the Bible. He reads, a few verses. And he says, well, this is what God is like. Okay, that's the basic. That's not very mature. That's not very mature. And so, because the way I was raised, it was like, I'd sit there and the pastor would be talking about the Trinity, and God was a spirit. I remember them mentioning that when I was a child. And this is before I became Latter-day Saint. She was like 24 years before. I'm sitting there, hearing the pastor talking about God. And all of a sudden, I hear him say, God is a spirit. I was like, Plamo. No, something wrong with that. It's amazing because, in the LDS Church, we believe in what's known as, the corporeal nature of God. That God the Father is a body of flesh and bone. And we also believe that we were with Him before we were born. Okay? We were with Him before we were born. And so, to that extent, what I heard in church at age 7 didn't register to me. I never told my parents. I just, did my best to try to accept what I was being brought up to believe. Okay? Now, here's the second part of external. And that part is how God answers my prayers externally. Okay, so you're starting to wake up, but you're still asleep. There's still parts of your body that are asleep. It's not working. This is where you're expecting God to answer constantly in the externals. But it's almost like you're starting to wake up. You realize you know better, but you still want to rely on Him in the external, in the temporal. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. But then, you gotta advance. You gotta progress. I remember back in I guess it was about 96. Went to my first business conference in Waco with Network Marketing with Mike's wife. And one of the guys was delivering a talk about God versus Satan. Okay. Now, Jody Moore was talking about, the conference where somebody was cursing on stage. Okay, I agree with her. That's not professional. But I was going to a conference. We was talking about God versus Satan. I was thinking, I came here to learn about network marketing tips. But then again, it helped wake me up to realize, hey, don't just rely on external and take people's words for it about what God is and how He answers prayers. Because too many people, they stay in that external. After they got over the fear, they stay in the external. And they say, well, it's always going to be that way. And what I learned in the landmark form is that there is no is reality. It's always going to be that way. It's never going to change. Come on. That's fatalistic and it doesn't work. You're not going to tap any success pattern having that idea spiritually, let alone temporally. Okay, so that's something for you to think about. That's something for you to think about here and now. Because we're going to go into the third level. Are you guys ready for this? Because now it's time to wake up. Because now we're going into the internals. You see, I don't know, it's like when I went to college. I had friends, for good or ill, they were like trying to tell me, stop trying to manifest things through God externally if it's not His will. Start searching internally. But I was kind of, how do I hear that? I was away in college. But then, in December 1994 night, coming home from my first semester in college, I found out that my grandmother was dying. And so I thought, well, okay. Maybe God doesn't always necessarily manifest in the externals. And so I kind of gave up on that concept for a while. And then, I got with my ex-wife. I started going to conferences. And, I was with a group of people who kept saying, well, God manifests Himself in the external. So I was kind of hopping around between external and awakening until February the 10th of 1999. I was going through my divorce. See, the beauty about internal, and this is something to think about. Somebody could take something from the Old Testament out of concept. I was talking to my best friend about that yesterday, and along with some members of my family, about a verse in Deuteronomy that just really, a set of verses in Deuteronomy that just really disturbed me. And then, at some point, it was like the Lord was saying, hey, stop. That's probably the Mosaic law. We have the higher law of Christ. It's easy to take verses out of context and just believe what people say. But spiritual awakening means you find the answers for yourself. Okay? You find the answers for yourself. You get the answers for yourself. And that helps you. Because if you're just going to believe what everybody else tells you about God, or how to live the gospel, or however it is, you're going to stay stuck, okay? You're going to stay stuck forever. It's like constant stasis, and you're not going to spiritually wake up. However, if you get to where you're gone internal. And see, even after I joined the church, it took me 12 years to get a few hard knocks to say, hey, Jimmy, knock it off. Stop trying to manifest in the external when it's supposed to be in the internal. Okay? So I hope you enjoy that. Now, I hope you enjoy listening to Empower Your Pattern 2.0. If you like what you hear, please subscribe. Become a part of Pattern Realm. This is Jimi Hendrix saying until next time, don't just sit there and take it. Build your dreams so you can take it. Do what others don't so you can be what others won't. And do what others don't so you can have what others can't. Choose, or do what others won't so you can have what others can't. Choose, act, and pursue happiness. God bless you.